Hello, and welcome to the podcast Life Under the Moon. I am your host, Sammy B, and today we are celebrating the new moon in Scorpio, which is perfect because it is a day after Halloween and Samhain, which is something I just recently learned this year, so let's dive right in. The new moon in Scorpio is all about going inward and reflecting and looking at your deep, dark attributes, traits, traumas, anything inside that you're repressing. And also, I just wanted to mention that I am not at my desk and on my microphone. I decided to do this in the woods with my black cat on Samhain. I thought that it would be a little bit more natural being in the woods making this podcast. So if it's not the greatest of quality, I apologize, but if you don't mind it, let me know. I want to talk about Samhain and what it is. Samhain is a holiday, and I will tell you my definition of it. It is basically Halloween and Harvest Fest or Thanksgiving mixed together. So Samhain is also known as the Witches' New Year. And I know when someone says witches, you picture a witch, a hat, and a long gown, and a pointy nose. But witches are also defined as someone who is wise and very spiritual. And I would consider myself as someone like that as well. Why do they call it the Witches' New Year? Well, because everybody celebrates New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, January 1st, the end of the calendar year. However, if you think about it, it makes sense to celebrate the end of the year / New Year, but on this day, around this time of year, a fall and the beginning of winter. Because think about it, it's the time when you're finished harvesting all the crops and you've canned all your goods and you've preserved, your garlics and your onions. It's a good time to take stock of all the inventory that you have. And so you're reflecting on your crops, your yields, your gardening, what that consisted of that year. So it's known as the Witch's New Year because you are indeed reflecting on the year. You're thinking about all the crops you harvested. You're thinking about all the hard work it took to maintain the crops in the summer. And what about in the spring when you planted everything? So now we're thinking about the entire year. So Samhain is also about kind of reflecting on the year, noting what went wrong and what went right. And the things that went wrong, just think of those challenges as growth. Because again, think back to any challenge you went through this year. I'm sure there's a few. There certainly was a lot for me. But it's a really good time to think about and note this stuff because sometimes when winter comes around and New Year's comes around, we get a little bit swept up and carried away with the whole celebrating New Year's and Christmas that we kind of start to forget what we actually went through during the year. So this is a really good time, now that it's fresh in our minds, to really take stock of our memories, the good, the bad, everything. And it's a perfect time to slow down because winter is about hibernation. Winter is about slowing everything down and going inward. As somebody once put it to me, she said, "Are you excited for winter?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And she said, "Well, winter is a really good time to just cozy up with a book and a glass of wine." And I thought, you know what? How many times did I get to do that during the summer? Summer is so go, go, go. The sun doesn't set till like 11 o'clock at night. But in winter, the sun sets at like 4 o'clock. So you're definitely more likely to see the sunset. So for me, fall and winter and spring is a really good opportunity for me to go and watch the sunset on my deck and curl up in a chair with either a glass of wine, a cup of tea, or if I'm really feeling crazy, maybe even a glass of scotch. Like whatever you're feeling. But think about a cozy winter day and how amazing it would be to just relax and allow yourself to just feel completely at peace with just doing nothing. Because society has trained us to believe that all we have to do is rush through life and get to the finish line. And guess what the finish line is? It is retirement and figuring out what you want to do with your life. And then there's death. And I don't know about you, but I know that life is a journey and there's absolutely no point in rushing it. So let's just enjoy it. And winter is a very, very good reminder to all of us to slow down. And I know I talk about slowing down a lot in many of my podcast episodes. And it's just a good method to have to live your life, to just slow it down every single day, every single moment, to live completely presently. I'm sure you can hear me cracking sticks from my fire. Here, I'm going to see if I can give you a little bit of ASMR for the fire. It's just so beautiful out. The sun is set. I watched the sunset with my black cat. And I lit the fire with my dog, Boris. But and it's going to be a wonderful evening, and I'm so excited to celebrate. So before we jump into the Samhain celebrations, I just want to reiterate how important it is to slow down. And if you're not looking forward to winter, maybe put a different perspective on it. Maybe instead of dreading it, just be excited for something about winter, whether it's snowmobiling, whether it's snowshoeing, skiing, snowboarding, just looking at the snow glistening in the moonlight. It sparkles like diamonds. What about those cold evenings when the air is misted with these tiny little diamond gems floating in the air? How beautiful is that? You don't get to see that in summer. It is so beautiful this time of year. So let's embrace it, because that's what makes summer and every other season so special, because we don't have it every single day. And like they say, you can't appreciate one without the other, because if you have nothing to compare it to, you don't know any different. So let's embrace it. Let's not dread it anymore. Let's actually embrace winter. Let's embrace this cozy season. So whatever your cup of tea is, or glass of wine, or whatever is your fancy, let's get excited for winter, you guys. So, Samhain festivities. What am I doing for Samhain this year? Well, like I said, I just found out about Samhain and what it is. And I am just starting off. So for me, I figured lighting a fire in my fire pit. Now, listen here. I love having campfires and just sitting around the fire and gazing at the stars above me and watching the northern lights when they come out. But do you know how many times I did that this year? Maybe 4. Yeah, that's it. And that's not enough. So this is a gentle and beautiful reminder to light a fire, to grab a cold or warm drink, sit around the fire, and enjoy the fall. Another thing that I wanted to do for Samhain is cook some delicious food. It's kind of about Harvest Fest, what you harvested throughout the year. I didn't plant a lot of crops this year because it was the busiest year for me personally with my business that I run. So I unfortunately didn't have a lot of time to have a garden. But I decided to swap that out with just having really good food. So I went to a high-end kind of I wouldn't even say grocery store, just like a high-end store that sells like appetizers. And I bought a kind of new appetizer that they just got in, and they look really good. That's something that I wouldn't normally do, and that's what I'm gonna do for dinner. And I also picked up a bottle of wine, so I plan on at least having a glass around the fire and just enjoying the sun turning to darkness in the sky and watching the little twinkly stars come out. And again, it's the new moon, so I won't be seeing any moon, which means the sky will be super bright with the glistening diamonds. Another thing that is fun to do on Samhain is indeed dress up a costume. So it's pretty cold where I live, so I'm not sure what kind of costume I would wear today, but I could even do something as simple as wearing orange and black makeup and just representing the Halloween colors. So you can do anything like that, or you can go all out with a costume, whatever you are feeling. Another thing you can do is treat yourself to some Halloween candy, because it's that one time of year where it's just what you do. It is just such a normal thing to do, is have some Halloween candy. One of the biggest things about Samhain is respecting the dead. So going to the cemetery would probably, like, if you have someone that you know who's buried, you can pay your respects. If you don't live close to the cemetery, you can do a little ritual at home. You can light a little tea candle or a little candle and then just wish their spirit well. I have a cat that passed away in the beginning of the year, so I'm going to go to her gravesite tonight with a little candle and say a few really gentle and beautiful words to her. Oh yes, I cannot forget about the tarot card readings. So of course Samhain has a lot to do with like witchy stuff. And if you think about the medieval days and like imagine like those little carts that they push around and they have a little fortune teller or tarot card reader in there, it just reminds me of that kind of time. So I do have a set of tarot cards that I recently bought for this day, and I will give myself a reading just to see what the universe wants me to focus on next, since this is celebrating everything that's happened this past year and what to look forward to in the coming cold winter months. And this is something that you don't have to do, but tarot cards are nothing to fear. They're actually very positive. It's a good way to see what your guides are trying to tell you, because a lot of us are too busy to notice that they're trying to talk to us and we just don't see those signs. If you want, you can buy yourself some really pretty fall flowers. That's something I actually just thought of and would have loved to do. But yeah, I don't live in the city, so unfortunately I won't do that. But what I can do is go around my yard and pick a fall bouquet of whatever I can find. So I'll probably do that just because that sounds like a really fun idea. You can also do some fall crafts if you want, carve a pumpkin, anything that's kind of Halloween tradition as well as Thanksgiving. You're just kind of mixing those two holidays together. Light your favorite scented candles, the ones that you've been saving that you don't want to light them, and make a wish. Write a little message on a piece of paper, an intention or a manifestation, and then burn it and let the universe take over, because what's meant to happen will happen. All right, guys, there is probably so many more things that I could list, but I'm going to leave this episode off here. So, as you know, this is the part of the show where we take a listener's wish and we manifest for their dreams to come true, because that is what is going to make this world a better place. And with all of us sharing positive energy, that already is making the world such a beautiful place to live in. Please don't be shy. Leave a comment below with what you are intending, whether it's something really small or something really big. It doesn't matter. I am wishing each and every single one of you beautiful humans on this planet the most wonderful Halloween, Samhain. Whether you celebrate or not, I just wish you the best day and evening. I hope everything is so insightful for you, and let's go manifest our dreams with our life under the moon.